Part 191. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1902. Zhang Chen got into the car and did not start the car immediately. Instead, he sat there and thought for a while. He now understood why Zhang Xiangbei rode a bicycle every day instead of driving. He went to the vegetable market every day. Of course, it is more convenient to ride a bicycle. What is this guy doing at the vegetable market? Of course Zhang Chen would not believe that Zhang Xiangbei had lost his mind in the United States, and he was not crazy. What he thought was that this guy would not be idle as soon as he returned to China. He must have his own ideas. He wanted to plant seeds, vegetables, or selling vegetables. He had done both of these things when he was in the United States. Could it be that he was addicted to them? Zhang Chen started the car and drove out of Splendid Home. Instead of going back to the dynamic zone, he drove to Sun Xianjiang's police station. Sun Xiangyang was sitting in the office. When he saw Zhang Chen walking in, he said ouch and immediately stood up and asked, "Uncle, it's really rare. What brings you to our place?" There were 3 other people sitting in the office. Zhang Chen nodded with them and said with a smile, "It's okay, I'm just here to find out about Zhang Xiangbei's situation." "Okay, okay." Sun Xiangyang came over immediately to learn about Zhang Xiangbei's situation. Of course, he couldn't do it in the office. Sun Xiangyang took Zhang Chen to the corridor outside. He went to the other offices next door to see that there were people sitting inside, except for the interrogation room. The door was open, but there was no one inside. "I'm sorry, uncle, this is the only place that's vacant." "Do you mind?" Sun Xiangyang asked. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "What do I have to mind?" He walked in as he said that. There was only one table in the interrogation room. There was a chair on one side of the table and 2 chairs on the other side. Zhang Chen walked over and was about to sit down on that chair. "Oh, wait, Uncle." Sun Xiangyang hurriedly caught up a few steps, grabbed Zhang Chen, and said to him, "Uncle, you sit over there, I'll sit here." "Why?" Zhang Chen asked in confusion. Sun Xiangyang chuckled, "This seat is usually occupied by suspects. How can I let my uncle sit here?" Zhang Chen laughed loudly. He walked to the opposite side and sat down. Sun Xiangyang sat down on that chair. Zhang Chen teased him. "What, fat man, are you not taboo?" "I fight fire with fire." Sun Xiangyang patted his police uniform and said. As soon as he sat down, he stood up again, ran out, came back with 2 bottles of water, handed one to Zhang Chen, and said to him, "Uncle, drink water." Zhang Chen put the water on the table and said to Sun Xiangyang, "I just want to ask you a few questions, fat man." Sun Xiangyang said, "Okay, uncle, tell me. Has there been anything unusual since Zhang Xiangbei came back?" Zhang Chen asked. "Abnormal?" "No," Sun Xiangyang said, "it's the same as before. However, now that he has graduated and no longer has to go back to the United States, he seems a little happier than before." Zhang Chen nodded. "Then what did you do together?" "I'm sorry, fat man. You can tell me what you can." "Hey, what can't we talk about? We just watch movies together, go to internet cafes to play games, go to the training hall to box with Master Wu, go to nightclubs to drink, and eat late-night snacks," Sun Xiangyang said. "By the way, fatty, has Zhang Xiangbei revealed to you what his next plans are?" Zhang Chen asked. Sun Xiangyang shook his head, "I never heard him say that. By the way, Xiangnan called him and told him that they were coming back from Taiwan and were about to prepare for the art festival. They asked Zhang Xiangbei to go over and help her." Zhang Xiangbei agreed. Zhang Chen had expected this, but Zhang Xiangbei didn't expect that he would ask him to go to Yongcheng to help Xiangnan. "What about other than that?" Zhang Chen asked. "Other than that, there is nothing else." "Oh, By the way, one time, when we were having supper, Zhang Xiangbei asked Zhou Ruyi how to register a company, but he didn't say anything further. Why? Zhou Ruyi said, "Don't ask, I will take you to register any company you want to register, and it will be done for you in one day." "There is no need to talk," Sun Xiangyang said. Zhang Chen nodded. Sun Xiangyang looked at him and asked, "Uncle, what's wrong with Zhang Xiangbei? Why do you want to know these things?" Zhang Chen told Sun Xiangyang about Zhang Xiangbei going to the market every day these days, and Sun Xiangyang shouted, "Oops, I didn't expect this, I'm sorry, uncle, I didn't expect him to be doing this at home every day. He really never told us about this. Uncle, maybe I'll ask at night." Zhang Chen thought for a moment, and he said, "Forget it. It's not a bad thing. Maybe he is planning something, so let him do it himself. If he has any ideas, I think he may not tell me, but he will definitely do it. Let me tell you first, at that time, can you tell me?" Sun Xiangyang nodded and said yes. After a while, Sun Xiangyang said, "This guy Zhang Xiangbei really knows how to do it. Uncle, he is actually quite strong. He is most afraid of others saying that he relies on his family for everything. What you just said, he really knows how to do it, he really may not tell you what he thinks, he will do it himself first, he just wants to show you some results." "That's right, so I can't even ask him directly. I want to come over and ask you," Zhang Chen said. "Actually, if he wants to do anything, we will definitely support him. No matter what, we always know better than him. A little more experience, we know what he did, let's talk to him, he can take less detours, don't you think so, Fatty?" Sun Xiangyang is right. This guy has too many ideas. Sometimes I don't know what he is thinking, Sun Xiangyang said. "Don't worry, uncle, if he tells us anything, I will definitely tip you off." "Okay, thank you, Fatty," Zhang Chen said and stood up, "then I'm leaving. By the way, Fatty, I'm here to talk to you about this matter today." "I know, I definitely won't tell Zhang Xiangbei." Sun Xiangyang immediately told Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen patted Sun Xiangyang on the shoulder and said thank you to him. Zhang Chen drove back to the dynamic zone and drove into the underground parking garage, only to find that Zhang Xiangbei's Audi R8 was no longer there, and his bicycle was parked against the wall. Xiaofang had to work overtime in the evening and had dinner at the company, but Zhang Chen deliberately went back early today to go home for dinner. When he arrived at the underground parking lot and saw Zhang Xiangbei's bicycle, Zhang Chen thought about it, put the bicycle in the trunk of his car, and took it back. Zhang Xiangbei saw Zhang Chen pushing the bicycle back and shouted, "Great, Dad, I can't fit in the trunk. I was planning to ask Fatty Sun to help me pick it up at night. I will ride it tomorrow." Zhang Chen remained calm and asked casually, "Why did you think of driving today?" "Bai Bei took me in the car." Before Zhang Xiangbei could speak, Zhang Xiangzi shouted at the side. Zhang Chen's mother quickly stopped her. "Call me brother, Zixi, don't call me Bai Bei." Zhang Xiangzi flopped down on the sofa, rolled his eyes, and shouted, "Okay, brother Bai Bei is taking me to the car." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Oh, where did you go to play?" Zhang Xiangzi looked at Zhang Xiangbei and said dissatisfiedly, "I didn't go anywhere, it wasn't fun at all. I just went from one community to another. Bai Bei parked the car and took me to look here and there. Like a thief." Zhang Chen laughed loudly, and Zhang Xiangbei also laughed. "Let me tell you, Dad, I was worried to death. I was afraid that Bai Bei would be caught as a bad guy by the security guards. Those security guards wouldn't let us in at first," Zhang Xiangzi said. "No, I was riding a bicycle, but the security guards wouldn't let us in. We drove there in a car. Didn't they let us in without even asking, and saluted us?" Zhang Xiangbei and Zhang Xiangzi said that Zhang Chen understood. It turned out that Zhang Xiangbei was driving to enter this community. Why was he going to other communities? You still said no, Dad, let me tell you, Bai Bei. Zhang Xiangzi saw her grandma looking at her and changed her words. Brother Bai Bei took me to the vegetable market and asked me about this and that. I asked people to make it cheaper, cheaper. They agreed to it, but he didn't buy it. Humph, I asked him to do it cheaper if it wasn't for my sake, those people would definitely scold him to death. Bai Bei, don't you think so? Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh, and said, oh, I didn't expect Zixi to have such a big face. They all want to give you face. Of course, I go to the grocery store with my grandma every day, and no one there knows me, Zhang Xiangzi said. Xiaofang came back in the evening, and Zhang Chen told her about Zhang Xiangbei. Xiaofang thought about it for a while, and she said, I got it. What do you know? Zhang Chen asked. You have forgotten what Bai Bei did in the United States. He grew vegetables and delivered vegetables to various restaurants. When he returned to Hangzhou, growing vegetables would definitely be impossible. I think he was thinking of doing group buying and then delivering food to various restaurants. The work unit delivers food, Xiaofang said. Yes, I also thought that he might want to sell vegetables, Zhang Chen said, but if he wants to deliver vegetables to the work, why would he go to other people's communities? I know, he wants to do fresh food delivery in the community. Xiaofang patted the sofa and said, however, fresh food delivery is difficult to do. So far, no one has succeeded. Even JD.com is only half-assed. Not to mention those small grocery shopping websites. Why is JD.com half-assed? Zhang Chen asked. What they do is just cooperate with other supermarkets, deliver the food from the supermarket to people's homes, and make some profit in the middle. What they are doing is not selling vegetables, but running errands, so they are half-baked, Xiaofang explained. Zhang Chen nodded. No matter what Bai Bei is going to do, let's just pretend we don't know and leave it alone. Do you understand? Xiaofang said. Why, didn't you say this is difficult to do? We should remind him earlier and stop him from spending such useless efforts, Zhang Chen said. Are you anxious to wait for Bai Bei to succeed in starting a business to support you? Xiaofang asked. Zhang Chen said, of course not. Don't you know that Bai Bei is very similar to you, my dear? Xiaofang said, he is also the kind of person who believes in something and will do it to the end. He will hit the wall before looking back. You tell him now that this won't work, that won't work, there is only one result. What's the result? That means he simply doesn't come to tell you anything, but he still does his own thing, Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen thought for a moment, and it was really like this. In the past, he had decided everything first, and then told Xiao Zhao. If Xiao Zhao didn't understand, he would have stopped talking. It seemed that Xiaofang, you're right, Zhang Xiangbei is really a lot like himself in this regard. We don't need to say anything. When he has thought about it for himself, he comes to talk to us. At that time, we will take advantage of the situation and analyze the pros and cons with him. It will be easy for him to listen and know where he has not considered enough. Zhang Chen nodded, feeling that Xiaofang's words made sense. This has another advantage, Xiaofang said. What's the benefit? Zhang Chen asked. When he really comes up with a plan or business plan, we can analyze and judge his ability based on his plan or business plan, Xiaofang said. Maybe our analysis will be subjective. Let Sister Lu Yun help you take a look, so that we can discover Bai Bei's potential, strengths and weaknesses. Thank you for the reward of Dal Tin Soldier and 2 fishes at around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you hoo hoo, book friends 202011091113511923, Lao Dibao Ei, Kitty Sun, and don't take it too seriously for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1903. Xiang Nan and the others finished their tour in Taipei today and returned to Hangzhou. Tan Shehen called Zhang Chen and told him, Nan Nan is back today and I will treat you to dinner tonight. Zhang Chen said, you don't need to invite me. I have already made an agreement with Xiang Nan. I will treat all the people in the troop to dinner in the evening, pick them up, and then send them back to Yongcheng after eating. By the way, Lao Yang and Xiao Wu will also come, I was just about to call you. After Tan Shehen listened, she hung up the phone without saying a word. At around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everyone from the troop was picked up. They went to Zhang Chen's office and chatted for a while. Xiang Nan, Ding Yusong, and Yin Tao talked about their trip to the United States, Japan, and Taiwan tour situation, reported to Zhang Chen. Then, they will start discussing the next Yongcheng Street Theater Festival. Seeing that they were going to talk about work, the other people asked about the private room for dinner in the evening, and all went downstairs to play, leaving only the two group leaders, Xiang Nan and Ding Yusong, here. When it was almost 5 o'clock, Lao Yang came, and then Xiao Wu arrived. The five of them sat and chatted, and Tan Shehen and Xiao Fang walked in from outside. It's not surprising that Tan Shehen came to Zhang Chen. She had called him before. He told her that she would have dinner with the theater troupe in the evening as a way to catch up with them. Xiao Fang would appear with Tan Shehen at this time, which surprised Zhang Chen. Seeing Xiao Fang, Xiongnan quickly called Aunt Xiao Fang, walked over and hugged her, but left Tan Shehen aside. Tan Shehen was used to it anyway. Xiao Fang asked Xiongnan, why, Bai Bei didn't pick you up at the airport? Of course we went, Ding Yusong shouted. Zhang Xiangbei turned away to Xiongnan before we could even react. Go, Xiangnan cursed, his face blushing slightly. After Tan Shehen and Xiao Fang sat down, Xiangnan came to Tan Shehen's side and leaned against her. Tan Shehen naturally held her hand, but the two of them still didn't say a word. With Lao Yang having such a big mouth, he must be the one who talks incessantly, and everyone else can only listen. Lao Yang has already praised Xiangnan's tour this time, saying that there is a lot of news on the internet. Our Wu opera troupe has really gone abroad this time, it's amazing, haha, it's our Yongcheng Wu opera troupe, the people from Zhejiang and Wu opera are getting jealous again. Tan Shehen and Xiao Fang came, and Lao Yang said similar words to them again, and at the end he didn't forget to add, Zhen Zhen, you feel inferior, right? Tan Shehen smiled and said, I've long been inferior. As she said this, she looked at Xiang Nan, who coquettishly crawled into her arms. Everyone chatted until 5:30. It was almost time. We stood up and went down together. We walked into the lobby of Tuxianjiayuan Hotel below. Xiao Fang held Xiang Nan with one hand and Zhang Chen with the other hand, refusing to let them go. They walked further. Tan Shehen accompanied Lao Yang, Xiao Wu, and Ding Yusong to continue walking forward. Tan Shehen said something to them. The three of them laughed, turned around, looked at them, and continued walking forward. Tan Shehen turned around and walked back. Zhang Chen was confused and asked Tan Shehen, what did you and Lao Yang say? I didn't say anything. I asked Lao Yang to take care of me, Tan Shehen said. Take care of me, what do you mean? Zhang Chen asked. It doesn't mean anything, it's just taking care of them. If you're not here, I'm not here, and neither is Nanan. I'll let Lao Yang, the former regiment leader, take care of them, eat and drink well, Tan Shehen said with a smile. Zhang Chen was even more surprised and wanted to ask again. Xiao Fang smiled and said, oh, why are you so talkative? Sister Zhen Zhen just wants to treat you to a meal. Besides, it can also satisfy your vanity. What the hell? Zhang Chen asked, and Tan Shehen laughed. They walked in the opposite direction to the box area on the other side of the hall, to the Frankfurt box. Zhang Chen's box at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel was named after the West Lake Scenic area on one side, and the other side was named after a foreign city, Frankfurt. It's a large box with seating for 18 people. Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment when he opened the door of the box. He saw sitting in the box were Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan, his mother, and Xiaofang's mother, two reclamation warriors, Xiaoshu, Yao Fen, Gan Xiangdong, and Zhang Xiangzi and Zhang Xiangbei have also arrived here, answering questions one after another from Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan. There were all family members in the private room. Zhang Chen immediately understood what Tan Shahan meant by inviting him to this meal. Xiang Nan also understood, and her face suddenly turned red. She saw Zhang Xiangbei looking at her with a smirk on his face. When Mrs. Tan saw Xiang Nan coming in, she quickly waved to Xiang Nan and asked him to come over and sit in the seat between her and Zhang Chen's mother. Zhang Chen turned to look at Tan Shahan. Tan Shahan smiled and said softly, "Don't look at me, it's not me. If you are anxious, there is someone who is more anxious than you." Xiaofang chuckled, and Zhang Chen immediately understood that the person Tan Shahan was talking about must be Lao Tan and his wife and two old ladies from his own family. They had been plotting for more than a week since Zhang Xiangbei came back. Zhang Chen also understood what Xiaofang said before, "Please satisfy your self-esteem. Tan Shahan is the girl's parent. Now the girl's parents are inviting us to discuss the matter of the two children. Aren't you still proud?" Everyone went over and sat down. The window paper was already torn if not poked, so there was no need to talk about it anymore. Immediately entered the stage of mutual praise between the two old ladies. Mrs. Tan was talking about how good Zhang Xiangbei was and how she liked it. Zhang Chen's mother was talking about how good Xiangnan was and how she liked it. Xiaofang's mother was next to her. "Keep helping." They were all children they had seen since childhood, so what else could they say? On the contrary, the two land reclamation warriors, Lao Tan and three men sat there and said nothing, but looked at Xiang Nan and Xiang Nan with joyful faces. Zhang Xiangbei clinked glasses with each other. Xiaoshu and Zhang Xiangbei were sitting together. Xiaoshu kept touching Zhang Xiangbei with his shoulders and teasing him. This uncle and Zhang Xiangbei had been more like brothers since they were young. They were used to teasing each other. Zhang Xiangbei would also tease him from time to time. "Touch back with your shoulder." There were only two people, Gan Xiangdong and Zhang Xiangzi, sitting there a little confused. They listened to several old people praising Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan. The two looked at each other, their mouths tightened, and their cheeks bulged. Finally, Zhang Xiangzi he cried loudly, and then Gan Xiangdong also said wow and started crying. A group of people in the box were sitting there, confused by the sudden crying of the two children. They didn't know why. Xiaofang was stunned for a moment, then understood immediately, and said with a smile, "Oh, Grandma and Grandma only praised my brothers and sisters. They didn't praise Zixi and Dong Dong. You are also very good. You must also praise. Grandma and Grandma are not here to be punished. Come here for praise, it's your turn to praise you soon." The others laughed, and then they understood why they were crying. Zhang Chen's mother, Xiaofang's mother, and Mrs. Tan quickly praised Zhang Xiangzi and Gan Xiangdong. Xiang Nan stood up, walked over and picked up Zhang Xiangzi, went back to sit down in his seat. Zhang Xiangbei also stood up, and hugged Gan Xiangdong from Yao Fen. Lao Tan looked at the four of them and said with a smile, "East, west, north, south, how great." The two land reclamation warriors nodded repeatedly. What was not said was that the east, west, south and north became a family and were finally connected. The quarrel between the two children actually promoted the progress of the matter. After the box became quiet, there was no need to say anything else. Several adults and old people directly began to discuss Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan. Marriage. Xiaofang said, "There are ready-made wedding rooms in the south, north and north. If you want a villa in Peach Blossom Spring or a row house by the Meisi River as a new house, you can start decorating it right away." Zhang Chen nodded. Several old people immediately began to discuss this issue. The final result of the discussion was that it is better to use a row house by the Meisi River as a new house. The villa in Dahuayuan is too far away from the city and is inconvenient to come and go. The most important thing is that, if the new house is placed in a row house by the Meisi River, Tan Shahan's house is next door, and it will be convenient for Lao Tan and Mrs Tan to see Siang Nan and Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Chen's mother and the others didn't have much way to go from splendid home. Zhang Chen's mother had already thought about it. How could she arrange the things she and Xiao Zhao needed for the two children by themselves? Mother is responsible for purchasing for them, and at most Mrs Tan will be brought along. The three old people take care of them, but they don't even take care of them comfortably. Zhang Chen agreed, then we will decide on the terraced houses by the Meisi River, Xiangnan and Zhangjiangbei. If you have any decoration requirements, tell me and I will help you design them. Tan Shahan said, I asked Lao Tan to arrange for the best workers to go over and use the best materials to ensure your satisfaction. While several adults were talking enthusiastically, Zhang Xiangbei and Xiangnan remained silent, pretending to be concentrating on teasing Gan Xiangdong and Zhang Xiangzi and not hearing what they were saying. Nanan, Bai Bei, what do you think? Tell us what you think, Xiao Fang urged the two of them. Zhang Xiangbei looked up at them, his face turned red. After holding it in for a long time, Zhang Xiangbei said, I don't want to get married yet. Everyone was shocked, and Zhang Chen's mother shouted, Why, Bai Bei? You don't want to marry Nanan? Xiangnan blushed and said, Grandma, Zhang Xiangbei didn't mean that. In fact, we have already discussed it. We don't want to get married so early. My troupe has just started to get better, and Zhang Xiangbei also has his own thoughts. We both have our own careers, and we want to wait until our careers stabilize before getting married. But Nanan, getting married won't delay your career. Xiao Fang's mother pointed at Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang and said, Look at them, have they delayed their careers? If not, they have given birth to Zixi. Down. That's right, Zhang Chen's mother and Mrs Tan nodded. But we don't want a house either, Zhang Xiangbei said, I think we will earn our own house. We just want to get married on our own ability. Yes, no matter how small the house is, we are not afraid. We will work hard ourselves, Xiang Nan said. Well done, you two, Xiaoshu praised from the side. Everyone in the box was silent. After a long time, Lao Tan said, I think their idea is good, and I support them. We have adults from both sides here today. Even if their affairs are settled, we can rest assured. With today's situation, they can be considered engaged. What's next? When it's time to get married, you should respect them and let them make their own choice. I agree, Lao Zhang said, I am sitting here, listening to what Nan Nan and Bei Bei say, and I feel happier than eating meat. The children have grown up and are more sensible than we thought. The two of them, he should be considered that or something, he can be considered a rich second generation, and he doesn't want to rely on his parents. I feel good about having such an idea. Lao Tan and Xiaofang's father kept nodding their heads as they listened. Although the man doesn't talk much, in the final analysis, he is still the head of the family. Since the three old people all have this opinion, the others have nothing to say, and the matter is settled like this. Besides, Lao Zhang was right. Xiang Nan and Zhang Xiangbei should both feel relieved that they have such thoughts. Thank you for the reward for ranking third from top to reading the book every day. Thank you Zipanjiang 1, Mike, Not Impossible World, On the Road to a Nation, and Big Eyed Dragonfly for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1904. The door of the box was pushed open, and Lao Yang and Xiao Wu walked in from the outside. When they encountered such a big happy event, of course they had to come over to congratulate them. Lao Yang kept saying to Lao Tan, Lao Zhang, and Xiaofang's father, "Happiness." Zhang Chen asked them to sit down, then he got up and patted Tan Shahan on the shoulder. They walked out of the box together and went to the troop to toast. "Are you disappointed, Zhang Chen, that no one even cares about your villa and townhouse?" Tan Shahan asked Zhang Chen while the two were walking. "No, Xiao Zhao and I were still living in a rental house in Sanbeo when we were about to give birth to Zhang Xiangbei. By the way, I want you to follow Zhang Xiangbei to experience the feeling of living in a rental house. It's quite good." "Okay," Zhang Chen smiled. "You," Tan Shahan scolded. The two people entered the Manlongia box. There were two tables connected by the two boxes. When everyone saw Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan coming in, they all cheered. Before Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan could toast everyone in turn cheered. Respected them. Lao Yang's big mouth had already told everyone about Zhang Xiangbei and Xiongnan. "Zhang Xiangbei has finally achieved enlightenment," Ding Yusong said. Yin Tao said, "That licking dog was always staring at Xiongnan. We were on the edge and were very worried about Zhang Xiangbei." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Isn't it time for you to worry about yourselves now?" Yin Tao's face turned red instantly, Ding Yusong chuckled, and everyone started cheering. The troupe has returned from an overseas tour for more than a month, and will have a 3-day holiday. Zhang Chen told everyone that if they want to go back to Yongcheng, a car will take them back later. If they don't want to go back to Yongcheng, they want to continue playing in Hangzhou. Someone will come to make statistics later and arrange a hotel for you. Everyone cheered again. This time, most of the young cast and crew members of the troupe who went to perform overseas were not married yet. According to what Zhang Chen said, most of them chose not to return to Yongcheng. After dinner, Zhang Xiangbei, Xiongnan, Sun Xiangyang, Zhou Ruyi, Yin Tao, and Ding Yusong got together again. They first went to Huanglong to play disco. While playing disco, Zhou Ruyi looked at Ding Yusong and shouted, "Xiao Xiyin, your dancing skills have improved greatly." When Zhang Xiangbei and the others heard this, they all laughed. Zhou Ruyi asked Xiongnan, "What are you laughing at?" Xiangnan shook his head. Zhou Ruyi asked Yin Tao again. Yin Tao said, "It's too noisy here. I'll talk to you later." After coming out of the disco, they went to the Shengli River night market to eat roasted lamb legs. Zhou Ruyi and Yin Tao said, "Now you can tell, what happened to the little four eyes." Yin Tao vividly told Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang about their experience that day in Brooklyn, New York. The two were overjoyed. Zhou Ruyi smiled and said, "That's right, Xiao Xiyin, when you were still so reckless, your image in my heart instantly grew taller." While joking, everyone thought of Xiaohu and called him immediately. Xiaohu was in Taipei and was having a late-night snack with Mang Chao and the others. The two parties opened the video and stimulated each other with the delicacies on their tables. Feeling that it was not enough, Zhou Ruyi also picked up his cell phone and ran outside, taking a picture of the street scene for Xiaohu to see. Xiaohu asked, "Where is this? Hedong Road or Hefang Street?" "No, it's Shengli River," Zhou Ruyi said. "Why haven't I been there?" "Then next time I go back to Hangzhou, Zhang Xiangbei, you want to take me there?" Xiaohu shouted. Zhang Xiangbei said yes. Everyone continued to eat and drink. Sun Xiangyang remembered that he still had a mission. Taking advantage of the crowd, he asked Zhang Xiangbei, "What do you do during the day?" "What are you doing, checking your household registration?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. Sun Xiangyang said, "I'm too lazy to check you. I know your household registration without checking." "I was visiting the vegetable market during the day," Zhang Xiangbei told them without hiding anything. "Visiting the vegetable market? What are you doing, trying to make delicious food to flatter Xiangnan?" Zhou Ruyi asked. Of course not, I want to see how they make money, Zhang Xiangbei said. Everyone present laughed, and Sun Xiangyang cursed. Zhang Xiangbei, aren't you stupid by studying at Yale? If you want to learn how to make money, why don't you go to Xiangnan's mother's company to see how they do real estate, and don't go to see your aunt Xiaofang, how to do finance and investment. Instead of going to see your godmother and old man, go to the vegetable market and see how people make money selling onions. Of course, the profits of vegetable sellers are higher than those of real estate and finance, and even higher than those of drug trafficking. To be honest, I still can't think of any other industry that has higher profits than them. Zhang Xiangbei said. How is that possible? Yin Tao said. Don't listen to his nonsense, he's teasing you, Xiang Nan said. You believe it too. Zhang Xiangbei shook his head and said seriously, really, I won't lie to you. This is the data I observed on the spot and calculated one by one. When Zhang Xiangbei saw everyone staring at him with disbelief, Zhang Xiangbei said. Look at the farmer's market, a stall is almost the family's livelihood. The family's rent, stall rent, food money, and children's schooling money all come from this stall, excluding the farmer's market. Not counting stall rent, how much liquidity do they have every day? It ranges from more than 2,000 to more than 3,000. What's the daily profit? Almost 10%, that is, 2 to 300, 2 to 3,000 in cost. In one day, from morning to evening, 10% of the profit is earned. From the next day, it is still the same. With working capital of 2 to 3,000, another 10% profit was made, doubling it in 10 days, which is 3 times the profit of working capital in 1 month. How much is it in a year? That's more than 30 times. Because of the rise and fall of vegetable prices, the working capital required for his purchases will be up to 2 to 300 more per day. But don't worry, they will recover the part of the price increase on the same day. Back, they had no loss. Think about it, with a few $1,000s of working capital, you can earn more than 30 times a year's profit. With such an input-to-output ratio and such a profit rate, no other industry can achieve it, not even drug trafficking. Bar. Oh, Zhang Xiangbei, if you think about it, it really is. Sun Xiangyang was a little confused by Zhang Xiangbei, and he asked, then you said, since the profit is so high, why didn't the vegetable seller listen? Did you say you got rich? How come there are no people who have made a fortune? Many of the people who wholesale vegetables in the Nangdu wholesale market were originally selling vegetables in the vegetable market, just like my parents who sold clothes in the Sijiking market in the early years. These people have also become rich now. Zhang Xiangbei said. If you don't talk about them, just talk about the vegetable sellers in the vegetable market. Zhang Xiangbei, why didn't they get rich? Zhou Ruyi asked. They didn't make a big fortune, but they did make a small fortune. Throughout the year, the family's living expenses were covered. Zhang Xiangbei said, there are still people who bought a stall at the farmer's market and a house because of it. You guys, you too, after all, are career editors, can you afford to buy a house by yourself with your salary? Sun Xiangyang and Zhou Ruyi shook their heads together. There are two things that restrict the vendors in the farmer's market. I call them the ceiling and the floor. They can't break through the ceiling when they go up, and they can't break through the floor when they go down. In this way, they can only stay in the middle, Zhang Xiangbei said. Everyone who listened was interested. Ding Yusong said, what about the ceiling and floor? Zhang Xiangbei, please explain it clearly. The ceiling is that no matter what, their sales volume, that is, their turnover, is basically stable every day, with limited fluctuations. Zhang Xiangbei said, a farmer's market, according to its radiation range, the number of people who go to the farmer's market to buy vegetables every day, the total number of people is basically the same. When these purchasing power are divided into each stall, the sales volume of each stall is basically the same. The reason is very simple, because the market is adjusting automatically. For example, if you are selling vegetables, the one that sells best and has the most regular customers will be the first to sell out. But for those who come to buy vegetables, they will not say that there is no more vegetables here. I won't eat vegetables today. Even if he is an old customer, he will go to other stalls to buy vegetables. And so on, even if the vegetables are sold again, they will eventually be sold out. As for the vegetable seller, there are many people buying vegetables these days. He may buy more vegetables the next day, but when you think so, others will think so too. Everyone will buy more vegetables. Green vegetables will become unsaleable and the price will drop. Then you won't dare to buy more. This is how the market regulates, so no stall will suddenly see a huge increase in sales. This is the ceiling. The daily turnover of one of his stalls is just that, and he can't break through it no matter what, unless he adds a few more stalls, one on the first floor and one on the second floor, to attract more customers, but it's useless. Limited by the floor. What is the floor? If you look at it, the stalls in the farmers market are basically mom and pop shops. 2 people are standard in one stall. This will cause a problem of labor cost. With 2 laborers, they just don't sell vegetables. Some go to work in factories, earning a total of 5,000 to 6,000 a month. Well, there is a ceiling limit on turnover above, and there is a restriction on labor costs below. So although they make profits every day, the profit level is not high. This is why the vendors in the farmers market cannot make a big fortune. Haha, Zhang Xiangbei, when you say that, it's really true, Zhou Ruyi said, but why are you thinking about this? Xiangnan looked at Zhang Xiangbei and asked, you don't want to sell vegetables, do you? Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile, it's true. As long as you break through the ceiling, that is, increase sales, don't make too much money selling vegetables. For example, you can't make money by setting up a stall, but if you open a farmer's market, you will definitely make money, just like my parents would go from Sijiking to Yan'an Road to open a specialty store. Do you want to open a farmer's market? Sun Xiangyang asked. Then that's too much for me, Zhang Xiangbei said. What time has it been to open a farmer's market? I understand, Zhang Xiangbei. Do you want to sell vegetables online? Zhou Ruyi shouted. Zhang Xiangbei said, yes, I have this idea. But, isn't there already a website like this? It's just to help buy groceries, Xiang Nan said. They have all gone astray. What they provide is not selling vegetables at all, but errand services and human flesh, Zhang Xiangbei said. The positioning is wrong. Websites like theirs are destined not to go far. What they are doing now, yes, you placed the order, and they bought the food for you from the farmer's market or supermarket and delivered it to your door. Isn't this human flesh? What's the difference between it and a delivery person? These websites are destined to be small. If they are done in this way, whether it is these small websites, JD.com or Dobeo's Fresh Food, they will have no future, and they cannot replace farmers' markets. First of all, the things they sell may not necessarily be fresher than those at the farmers' market, but their prices will definitely be more expensive than those at the farmers' market, which makes no sense at all. Then what do you want to do? Zhou Ruyi asked. What do I want to do? Zhang Xiangbei took a sip of wine and said, what I want to do is to defeat them all and leave them with no way to survive. No matter Lu Qiangdong or Jack Ma, I want them all to become me. His men were defeated. Thank you to my Yanyu Jiangnan, 2 fishes, 1 above and 1 below, third from top to bottom, for your funny reward. Thank you for my misty rain, Jiangnan, mansion, Tianwei Y, hu, the empire is not harvested at night. Daos Hung 123, Wahaji, Dora Iman, Rabuluaj, Gongzimayan Z, Breeze slowly 365, why can't I change my name? Nankiman 79, book monthly ticket of friend 201708150304493002. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1905. Awesome, Sun Xiangyang shouted, Zhang Xiangbei, if you can defeat them, I will carry your shoes. I'll go too. As long as you don't let me see those ancient coins with green fur, I can do anything. Damn it, Zhang Xiangbei, please save me, Zhou Ruyi also shouted. Okay, Zhang Xiangbei looked at the two of them, laughed, and said, but I haven't thought about it myself yet. Why didn't you think about it well? Didn't you just think about it well and you were about to defeat Jack Ma and Lu Qiangdong, Sun Xiangyang said. Yes, I have planned to defeat them, but I haven't figured out how to do it. Now, I just know that their direction is wrong, and there is a lot of space inside, Zhang Xiangbei said. What do you mean? Zhou Ruyi asked. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang were questioning Zhang Xiangbei, as if they had really made up their minds to follow Zhang Xiangbei. The other three people sat there and watched them go back and forth. At this time, Ding Yusong laughed. Are you laughing so hard, little Four Eyes? Zhou Ruyi glanced at him and cursed. I laughed at you too for being so childish. Zhang Xiangbei drew a pie and you immediately believed it? One of them, the police, didn't want to do it anymore, and the other one wanted to kick the museum down because of that, Ding Yusong said with a smile. I'm serious, I just got into trouble with their family, no matter what, Zhou Ruyi said. At that time, I said I would follow Xiang Nan. Damn, she doesn't want me. Now, I will catch her husband. The other people laughed and stretched out their hands to twist her. Zhou Ruyi shouted, stop, use your words but not your hands. Please let her go. Zhang Xiangbei looked at them and said to them. Let me tell you, this is really not a pancake. The space inside is too big. If I make it, I won't be like them. Do you know, through them, what is the order of the dish? At least it is the third. 4 steps, peeling the skin layer by layer in the middle, the Chinese cabbage that costs 2 cents a pound, in your hands, has become more than 2 pieces, are you cruel? You can't say that. There are also shipping costs and so on, Xiang Nan said. The freight is actually very cheap, fresh agricultural products, the country has green channels, and highway tolls are reduced or exempted. When it is spread out per kilogram of vegetables, it is not much money. Zhang Xiangbei raised his cup, and the others also raised it. Before he could drink, Zhang Xiangbei put his cup down again. Obviously, he was still eager to speak. Zhang Xiangbei continued. The most important thing is that the middlemen make money, so you see on the internet that farmers shed tears when their tomatoes are unsaleable, and their cabbage rots in the ground. But in fact, the prices of vegetables in the market are not as cheap because there is no profit at all in the intermediate links, and the actual cost of vegetables accounts for too small a proportion of the vegetables we buy. Why is this happening? Yin Tao asked. Take Hangzhou as an example. All the vegetables in the farmers' market are purchased from the Nangdu wholesale market. The vegetables in Nangdu are all shipped from Shandong, Henan, Anhui, and Hainan. Here, the farmers who grow vegetables sell the vegetables to buyers. This is the first step. The buyers transport these vegetables to Hangzhou and sell them to wholesalers in the agricultural capital. The wholesalers make another profit. This is still good. Some vegetables are still monopolized by a few companies when they arrive in Hangzhou. They must go through them and then go to the wholesalers. This means that in the agricultural capital, this batch of vegetables will be sold twice, and then they will be sold to wholesalers. At the farmers' market, vegetable sellers are making another profit, and the prices are going up one level at a time, including pork. Pork that costs 7 or 8 yuan per pound becomes more than 10 or 20 yuan at the vegetable market. What about in the supermarket? Zhou Ruyi asked. What's more, in supermarkets, the vegetables in supermarkets are supplied by specialized companies. They want to make money, and their vegetables are also wholesaled from farmers. When you get to the supermarket, you have to add the supermarket's deductions, so the vegetables in the supermarket will be more expensive than the farmer's market. For this reason, it is equivalent to one more dish. And for those websites that sell vegetables, their vegetables are all from farmers' markets. If they come from markets and supermarkets, and they add another one, wouldn't the price go up again? Zhang Xiangbei said. Then what are you going to do? Sun Xiangyang asked, trying hard to remember what Zhang Xiangbei said. He still had to report to Uncle Zhang Chen. I will remove all the intermediate links, from farmers' fields to consumers' doorsteps. This is the real end-to-end. In this way, not only will the stopover time be shorter, but the price will also be cheaper. If my vegetables are fresher and cheaper than farmers' markets and supermarkets, do you think everyone will come to buy my vegetables? Zhang Xiangbei said. The ideal is very fulfilling, but it must be very difficult. Are you going to the farmers to purchase it yourself? Zhou Ruyi asked. Yes, direct procurement and direct delivery, Zhang Xiangbei said. On the other end, I purchase it directly from farmers. In this way, the purchase price can be appropriately higher, and farmers can also maintain quality and quantity. On this end, I purchase it directly from farmers. If all the intermediate links are gone and the profits from the original intermediate links are released, can we achieve a win-win situation for farmers, us and consumers? Everyone listened and thought Zhang Xiangbei's idea was very good. If so many intermediate links could be eliminated, the price of this dish could really be reduced. If the price of the dish was cheaper than farmers' markets and supermarkets, and it was who would go to farmers' markets and supermarkets to buy groceries when they are delivered to your doorstep? Moreover, if this market can be developed, it will be really big, even bigger than Dabao.com. It can take 10 days and a half to buy a piece of clothing, but which family can't buy food? For an average family, these necessary expenses account for the bulk of household expenses. Okay, Zhang Xiangbei, let's do it, Sun Xiangyang said. It can't be done. Fresh food delivery also has a ceiling and a floor. It can't be broken through, at least not yet. This is what worries me every day, Zhang Xiangbei said. What kind of ceiling and floor does this have? Ding Yusong asked. You just give it away if someone buys it. What's the difficulty? This, especially for the majority of office workers, their needs are concentrated, Zhang Xiangbei said. For example, generally between 10 and 12 noon, and between 6 and 8 p.m., everyone the demand for food all bursts out at 2 points in time. If you deliver it too late, they won't want it. You can't say that you won't receive your food until 9 o'clock and have dinner at 10 o'clock, right? It's too early, most people haven't gotten off work yet, and there's not even anyone to collect your food. Also, what matters about fresh food is freshness. Those who say it will be delivered the next day are just fooling around. Is it still fresh after one night? Of course, the order is placed today, the stock is prepared today, and it will be delivered today. Da Zhang Xiangbei said. Then just pick these 2 time points for delivery, Xiang Nan said. Let consumers choose the delivery time. Of course it can be done like this when there are few customers. For example, if I deliver 1,000 or 10,000 pieces a day, that's fine. No problem. I can deliver them on time, Zhang Xiangbei said, but if we really make it big, I have to deliver it a day. In a city like Hangzhou, I want to deliver hundreds of thousands or millions of items. Can I still deliver? To ensure that such a large amount of goods is delivered on time in such a short period of time, how many people and vehicles do I need? This touches the floor again, that is, the cost of labor. What will happen in the end? That is, the price of your vegetables may be a little cheaper, but the delivery standard is higher. If it is lower than this standard, it cannot be delivered, and there is an additional delivery fee, otherwise you will not be able to bear the cost. It's normal for people to buy food for 30 yuan at a time. If you charge them 4 or 5 yuan for delivery, isn't their actual expenditure high? But if you rely entirely on human flesh, you really can't reduce this delivery fee. Come on, how many homes can one person deliver in just 1 or 2 hours? If there is no delivery fee, where is his income? Zhang Xiangbei said, and everyone nodded, thinking that he was right. This is just like those food delivery apps and taxi hailing apps. They are very cheap when you first use them, but in the end they become more and more expensive. The platform feels that it is not making enough money. In order to meet the basic profit margin, they can only squeeze the merchants, and the result is that the quality becomes worse and worse. Then there's no solution, Zhou Ruyi sighed. There will definitely be a way, Zhang Xiangbei said. Actually, to jump to the topic, what I have to do is 2 things. One is how to deliver the food at the time requested by the consumer so that he can get the food he bought after get off work. And the second is that the dishes he got are the freshest. As long as these 2 points are solved, this matter can be done. I've been talking for a long time, but it's nonsense, Yin Tao said. Aren't these 2 points the most difficult to solve? Yes, but if this is solved, it will be a dagger, Zhang Xiangbei said. What do you mean? Sun Xiangyang asked. It directly penetrates into the heart of Diabao and JD.com, Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile. Dabao.com looks cool to you, but it is actually separated from customers by 1 layer. Diabao.com does not directly face customers. Both collection and delivery need to go through express companies. They are just trying to save effort and make quick and easy money, but the last mile is not connected. If I can deliver food to thousands of households, I'll get through the last mile. In fact, it's the last mile that is my trump card. Think about it, if I buy food for you every day, will you also buy other things from me? The food I provide you is fresh and cheap. Will I, invisibly, establish a reputation among consumers? My reputation? After everyone gets used to logging into our website every day, at this time, I only need to do one more thing, and I can basically say goodbye to consumers. What are you doing? Zhou Ruyi asked. Since vegetables can go directly from the farm to the consumer's doorstep, can't clothes go directly from the garment factory to the consumer's hands? Can't other things be done? Our company has become a big company in itself. Group purchasers, can I get the same thing at a cheaper price than at Daibao? As long as the last mile is cleared, there are so many things that can be done. For example, I can become the largest advertiser in the country, and my ads can be truly targeted. A new KFC store opens, and his ads, if I want to cover several surrounding communities, I can ask him to cover which communities, and it is door to door. Who among other advertising companies can do this? I just need to put the advertisement in the food basket, or I publish a shopping guide every week, which is full of advertisements and various coupons. It goes directly to people's homes together with the food, and people won't pick it up and read it. Do you have any coupons you need? No matter how powerful you are at Focus Media, you can only put your ads in elevators, but you can't do it in other people's homes, right? Zhang Xiangbei kept talking, and several other people were a little dumbfounded. After Zhang Xiangbei finished speaking, Zhou Ruyi looked at him and asked. Zhang Xiangbei, are you thinking too much, or are you too drunk? Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly and said, I just lack a key now, a key that can unlock the confusion in my mind. As long as I find this key, I will make them tremble. Thank you for your monthly votes for Kissing Pigs, Lanjuru Omua, Doraemon, I Love Purple, Fantasy in the Wind, and The Sky is Way Why. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival to everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1906. Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang came out of Jingxiu home and drove to Sun Xianjiang's police station. In the morning, Sun Xiangyang sent Zhang Chen a text message and told him that he knew what Zhang Xiangbei was going to do, so Zhang Chen and Xiao Fang came here specially. Find Sun Xiangyang. The car stopped at the door of the police station. Zhang Chen called Sun Xiangyang. Sun Xiangyang immediately ran out, got into the car, and told Zhang Chen and Xiaofang what Zhang Xiangbei told them when they had supper last night. After all, as Xiaofang expected, Zhang Xiangbei was preparing to deliver fresh food. After Sun Xiangyang finished talking about the matter, Xiaofang thought for a while and said that for now, Bai Bei's idea is right and very comprehensive, including the last mile problem he mentioned, which is indeed restricting the entire industry. At present, there can be no single most critical reason for great development. Auntie, what should we do now? Sun Xiangyang asked. You don't have to do anything. It's up to him. If Bai Bei doesn't think clearly and finds the key to solving the last kilometer, he won't do anything. Xiaofang said. Sun Xiangyang laughed, and Zhang Chen asked, Fat man, why are you laughing? Zhang Xiangbei is so similar to Aunt Xiaofang. Last night, he also said that he lacked a key that could unlock the confusion in his mind. Xiaofang also laughed, and Zhang Chen sighed in his heart. Yes, Zhang Xiangbei has lived with Xiaofang for so many years, and he will definitely be affected by it. Xiaofang and Zhang Chen said, Don't worry, Bai Bei is much calmer than you think. If you're not sure, he won't do anything. Zhang Chen nodded. Okay, I admit, he is better than me in this regard. Xiaofang and Fatty Sun both laughed. Zhang Chen, Xiaofang, and Sun Xiangyang separated. On the way back to the dynamic zone, Xiaofang sighed in the car. She said that Bai Bei's appetite was too big. If this industry really started, it would be hard to see the end of it. However, it will be much more difficult than he imagined. What are you worried about? Didn't you say that if he wasn't sure, he wouldn't do anything? Zhang Chen said. What if he thinks about it and decides to do it? Xiaofang said. I have to think about this matter carefully. Although Xiang Nan had 3 days of rest, she still returned to Yongcheng at noon the next day. Preparations for this year's Yongcheng Street Theater Festival have begun. While they were still touring in Taiwan, a preparatory group in Yongcheng City had been established and officially started work. Like last year, Xiang Nan was also the executive deputy director of the preparatory group office. The entire preparation, the heavy burden of work still falls on their troupe. Xiang Nan was in a hurry to return to Yongcheng and report to Deputy Mayor Sun Jin. Zhang Xiangbei drove his Audi R8 back to accompany her. While they were still on the Hangzhongjing Expressway, Xiangnan called Sun Jin and made an appointment with her to meet later. They got off the expressway and entered Yongcheng City. I personally didn't even return to the theater troupe or home, and went directly to the Yongcheng government compound. Zhang Xiangbei was waiting for Xiangnan in the parking lot at the gate. Xiangnan went in alone to find Sun Jin. Sun Jin laughed when she saw Xiang Nan coming in. She said, Nanan, you are still outside. I am as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. I don't know how to proceed. Fortunately, you are back. By the way, you have performed overseas this time, and the response from all aspects has been very good. Congratulations. Xiang Nan quickly said, Thank you, Aunt Sun Jin. The two exchanged views on the composition of the preparatory team office. The focus was on the personnel transferred from various units last year and performed well. Xiang Nan made a list for Sun Jin, hoping that these people could still participate in the work of the preparatory team office this year. This way, you can get started faster. By the way, has Bai Bei come back? Sun Jin asked. He did a lot last year. You must catch this strong man, Nanan. Xiang Nan smiled and told Sun Jin that he was back and he would come to help. She did not tell Sun Jin that Zhang Xiangbei was in the parking lot at the gate. If she had told him, Sun Jin would definitely let him in immediately. Xiang Nan told Sun Jin about his encounter with Yuqiwadong in Tokyo, reported to her, and planned to invite their whole family as guests of the street theater festival. Sun Jin said yes, we heard that there is a well-known professor at Tokyo Institute of Technology who is from Yongcheng, but we haven't been able to contact him yet. Unexpectedly, by such a coincidence, you met in Tokyo. If Professor Yu can return to his hometown, take a look, that would be great, of course we welcome it. Xiang Nan said yes, I will send out the invitations when I get back. Xiangnan came out of the city hall, then went to the troop, walked to the door of the office. Xiangnan pushed Zhang Xiangbei towards the big office diagonally opposite, and told him, your office is over there, you can take office today. Why should I take office when there is no one yet? Zhang Xiangbei asked in surprise. Xiang Nan chuckled and said to him, just go and sit over there. I'm going to talk to them about work here. Zhang Xiangbei felt strange, talking about work? Isn't it just Su Jianmei, Xiang, Xiang's husband, and teacher Li? When Xiang Nan had to avoid talking to them about work, didn't he always let him be by the side to help with ideas? Zhang Xiangbei looked at Xiangnan, and Xiangnan's face turned red. Zhang Xiangbei understood and couldn't help laughing. Don't laugh, Xiang Nan cursed. Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, okay, I won't laugh. I'll go to the opposite side and take over. I'll also close the door and sit alone inside to strategize, okay. Zhang Xiangbei walked diagonally across the street, pushed the door open and went in, then closed the door again. Xiang Nan then opened the office door, walked into his office, and called Su Jianmei to come over first. The whole troop must have known about her and Zhang Xiangbei's affairs last night. If Zhang Xiangbei was sitting in her office, Su Jianmei, Xiang's husband, and teacher Li would all come and talk to them. Just kidding, what kind of work are we talking about? Therefore, Xiangnan must drive Zhang Xiangbei away. Sure enough, Su Jianmei's first words when she came in were, Nan, why don't you stay in Hangzhou for a few more days, and are you in such a hurry to come back? The second sentence is to look around and ask strangely, where is Bai? Why didn't he come with you? The third sentence is congratulations, Nanan, Auntie is really happy for you. It's great that you are together, and it will come naturally. Xiang Nan smiled. Fortunately, Zhang Xiangbei was not here, so we could talk about work soon. Next, Xiang's husband and teacher Li came in, and it was the same. After all the work in the regiment was finished and it was already evening, Zhang Xiangbei was very quiet in that room. She walked south and it was also quiet inside. She opened the door and saw Zhang Xiangbei lying inside. He was motionless on the sofa, already asleep. Xiang Nan tiptoed over, wanting to slap him hard and startle him. Unexpectedly, just as she approached, Zhang Xiangbei suddenly grabbed her, Xiang Nan exclaimed, and he fell down. Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan were still in Hangzhou and had not come back. They did not want to go back to eat, so they went to the canteen in Yongcheng Center to eat. During the meal, everyone saw Zhang Xiangbei and came over to tease them. Zhang Xiangbei was laughing and joking. Xiangnan was eating by himself, and left all the people to Zhang Xiangbei to take care of. Xiang Nan lowered his head, chuckled, and whispered to Zhang Xiangbei, anyway, you have woken up and are full of energy. Zhang Xiangbei said yes, just let me perform a one-man show. After eating, the two of them went back to Xiangnan's office, carrying large and small bags before going home. The things in their hands were all bought by Xiangnan online while they were out. They returned home, parked the car in the underground parking garage, entered the elevator with their luggage and large and small bags, and pressed one to the south. Zhang Xiangbei asked, "What are you doing on the first floor?" Xiangnan handed his mobile phone to Zhang Xiangbei, grinning, "There are 2 couriers of mine at the email box in building 3. I'll wait for you on the first floor. Go and get them for me. Anyway, you." "I know, I'm awake anyway and I'm full of energy," Zhang Xiangbei said, while Xiangnan kept nodding. On the first floor, The two people walked out of the elevator and piled their things at the entrance of the elevator. Xiongnan stood here waiting. Zhang Xiangbei took Xiongnan's mobile phone and walked out. Xiongnan stood there and waited for more than 10 minutes. Zhang Xiangbei hadn't come back yet. Xiongnan was puzzled. It only took 5 or 6 minutes to go back and forth from here to the third building, plus the time to pick up the express. Zhang Xiangbei didn't come back yet. Why has Bei been gone for so long and still not back? She really wanted to call and ask, but her phone was taken away by Zhang Xiangbei. She wanted to go over and take a look, but she couldn't leave with so many things piled here. Xiangnan could only stand there and continue to wait. After waiting for another 7 or 8 minutes, Zhang Xiangbei still didn't come back. Xiangnan lowered his head and looked at the luggage and the pile of large and small bags beside him. He couldn't throw these things here. He walked to look for it by himself. He wanted to take it with him, but he couldn't take it by himself. Xiangnan was anxious and helpless. At this time, a security guard patrolled down from upstairs. Xiongnan quickly stopped him and asked him to help him look at his things, and then he would go back. The security guard knew that she was the daughter of the big boss, so of course he agreed. He walked out to the south and walked towards the third building. The email boxes in the community are concentrated on the ground floor of the third building. They are brightly lit inside. Looking far to the south, you can see the shadow of Zhang Xiangbei. He is inside, not picking up express mail, but surrounding the rows. Email box, looking back and forth. Xiangnan walked over with doubts on his face. He didn't know what this guy was doing. Zhang Xiangbei patted and touched the metal cabinets excitedly. He didn't even know that Xiangnan had walked in. Xiangnan patted him on the back. Cried. "What are you doing, preparing to steal express mail?" Zhang Xiangbei turned his head, his face full of joy, and laughed when he saw Xiongnan. "I was looking for the key, haha, I found it." Xiangnan was confused and asked, "What key are you looking for?" "The pickup code is in my mobile phone." "Didn't you take the mobile phone away?" No, it's not the pickup code, it's the key found." Let's go." Zhang Xiangbei laughed, hugged Xiongnan and walked outside. After walking for a while, Xiongnan looked at Zhang Xiangbei and asked, "Where is the express?" "What express?" "The express package I asked you to pick up." "Oh, I forgot." Zhang Xiangbei let go of Xiongnan, turned around and ran back. "Thank you Wahaji for the reward of 2 fishes, 1 up and 1 down. Thank you for Shachin Mood, the empire is not closed at night, Wandering Xiaoliu, on the road to a nation, book friends 1406191349478885, Tian Wei, quiet, and in action 2012, Wahaji, Tamagotchi, romantic Sakura Kinshu, don't take it too seriously, Qian Dad's monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1907. Zhang Xiangbei, are you going back to Hangzhou right away? Zhang Xiangbei told Xiongnan his thoughts and asked Xiongnan. No, it's not that urgent. I will go back when the arrangements are made here, Zhang Xiangbei said. Xiongnan looked at him and said to him, Zhang Xiangbei, it doesn't matter. Just do whatever you want to do. I support you. You are here to help us. It is not your obligation. Even if you're not here, I can arrange things here. Zhang Xiangbei said, there is really no need to be in such a hurry. There are still some things that I need to think about clearly. By the way, while I am here, I will write a complete plan. Everything is planned, you can start operating as planned when you go back. Once you start doing this, you must go all out, there is no turning back, so you have to think clearly beforehand. Xiang Nan nodded. She stood up, walked into her room, walked out after a while, and handed a bank book to Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei opened it and looked at it. It contained more than 2.7 million yuan. Money, Zhang Xiangbei asked. Whose is this? My name, of course, is mine, Xiang Nan said. How do you have so much money? I gave my salary, bonuses, and subsidies, as well as the labor fees I earned from previous performances, advertising endorsement fees, and the New Year's money from my childhood, all to my dad in the end. My dad didn't use a penny, so he kept them all for me. Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei nodded and returned the passbook to Xiangnan. Xiangnan said, why do you give it back to me? This is for you. Don't you want to start a business? You don't want the family's money, so we will use our own money. Zhang Xiangbei quickly shook his head. No, no, I can't ask for your money. I have money myself. Are you rich? How much money do you have? I have more than 1.6 million, Zhang Xiangbei said. More than 1.6 million, is this enough for you? It's definitely not enough, plus Zhang Xiangbei, if you don't accept it, I'll be angry, Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei said, however, starting a business is very risky, so I am ready to lose everything and go work. Then the two of us prepare together. What are you afraid of if you lose everything? I still have a salary to support you, Xiang Nan said and laughed. By the way, you can also come to work with me and arrange for you to go to the property management company. Being a security guard in the company does not count as opening a back door. Zhang Xiangbei glared at Xiangnan, and Xiangnan chuckled, that's right, and Sun Jin likes you very much, maybe she can help you arrange a job. Hurry up, Zhang Xiangbei, get your bank book, put it away, you know the password, do you want to put it away? I'll count to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Zhang Xiangbei quickly shouted, okay, I'll take it. Alas, after taking this money, I feel a lot of pressure. What's mine is yours. I haven't made it clear to you if you have any pressure. As long as you are doing things, if the money is gone, we will make more money, Xiang Nan said. Zhang Xiangbei said, yes, don't worry, I will definitely double the money back. That's about right, Xiangnan smiled and nodded. Zhang Xiangbei, I have confidence in you, and I also like to see you looking confident. The next day, Ding Yusong and Yin Tao also returned from Hangzhou early. Sun Jin's work was very efficient. People transferred from various departments also came to report one after another according to Xiang Nan's requirements today. They saw Zhang Xiangbei was very happy and asked him, has your Audi R8 driven here? Zhang Xiangbei scolded, I knew you losers would miss it, so of course I came. Those people laughed, and someone said, Zhang Xiangbei, starting from tomorrow, you can see him again for the time being. Others said, anyway, we have no hope of being rich in this life. We can only rely on these few days a year to enjoy driving it. By the afternoon, all the people who had been transferred had arrived. As expected, they were all the same faces from last year. They didn't need to tell them what to do next. They all knew what to do next. Besides, many companies had already negotiated this year's sponsorship last year. Last year's drama festival did promote the sponsoring companies, and the results were seen. It will be almost no difficulty to talk about it again this year. This is why they are all very happy to be transferred here from their original units. Zhang Xiangbei held a meeting for everyone and divided the tasks. Unlike last year, Zhang Xiangbei thought that in addition to naming the entire drama festival, he could also name 12 relatively large stages. For example, the one on Moon Island can be called Yongcheng Chemical Theater, and the ones on the riverside can be called Wujiapi Theater, Yanzhou Biscuit Theater, etc. Send out the naming tasks for these 12 stages, and the meeting will be over. The next thing that is indispensable is of course Zhangjiangbei inviting everyone to dinner. The Yongcheng International Street Theater Festival is already its second this year. Everyone has gained experience. Not only Zhangjiangbei's place is much less difficult, but also Xiangnan's and even the entire departments of the Culture, Tourism, and Sports Bureau have started in an orderly manner. There are a lot of creative ideas for work and preparation for various activities that will be held at the same time as the theater festival, and they need to be repeatedly selected by the preparatory team office. We will no longer have to improvise some activities like last year. On the weekend, Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang came over and stayed in Yongcheng for 2 nights. After dinner on Sunday, when they were about to leave, Zhang Xiangbei left with them. He left his Audi R8 here. He wants to go back and apply for a business license and start planning to build his company. On the way back, Zhang Xiangbei told Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang his thoughts. They also thought Zhang Xiangbei's idea was very cool. They begged that they must come out of the unit and follow Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei said to them, "I am very short of people here, and I really hope that you too can come, but whether you can come or not is not my decision. You have to do the work of getting through your parents first. I don't want them to think that I'm a harmful person." Then it's settled, Zhang Xiangbei, don't go back on your word. I'll do my job to get through my parents, so I'll do it with you, Zhou Ruyi said. Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said, "What do I regret? If you want to come, I will welcome you with both hands." When she got home that night, Zhou Ruyi told her parents about the matter. Of course her parents objected when they heard this. Her mother jumped up from the sofa and cursed. "Zhou Ruyi, are you crazy? You are going to start a business with Zhang Xiangbei instead of waiting for a good public institution. Do you know how many people want to join your company now? A business editor, they just want to spend 1 million. You can't buy it either. It's just another person, I don't care about it," Zhou Ruyi shouted. "Aren't you curious? You can stand and talk without back pain. You have your father to help you with everything. Of course you are not curious. If it weren't for your father, you might still be in a private enterprise now, looking at the boss's face every day. Do you think you care about it?" Zhou's mother shouted loudly. "Look at the boss's face, that's better than looking at a pile of green-haired coins all day long," Zhou Ruyi said back. "You haven't seen other people's faces. Once you have, you will be willing to look at green-haired," Zhou's mother scolded. Zhou Ruyi's father, Zhou Ben, sat there silently. After the mother and daughter finished yelling at each other, Zhou Ben asked Zhou Ruyi, "Tell me first, what do you want to do in starting a business?" Zhou Ruyi told her father what Zhang Xiangbei wanted to do. Zhou Ben kept nodding as he listened. With his professional sensitivity, he also knew that this was a blue ocean and there was indeed much to be accomplished. He himself had served as the Director of Industry and Commerce, and was certainly better than Zhou Ruyi. "My mother thought far ahead and felt that there was nothing wrong with starting a business, especially starting a business with Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei studied economics at Yale, and his father and aunt are both experienced and successful entrepreneurs. This is where they have an advantage over others. If Zhang Xiangbei starts a business, his father and aunt will, even if you teach them step by step, you will teach them a lot, especially helping them control risks." Zhou Ben looked at his wife, and then said to Zhou Ruyi, "What your mother said makes sense. Your job is indeed a job that many people envy. Moreover, my father also told you the truth. Now the control in this area is becoming more and more strict. Once you get out, if you want to go back, I'm afraid Dad has no choice. You have to take the exam with other people to have such an opportunity. Have you ever thought about this?" "Of course I have thought about it. Once I come out, I will never want to go back," Zhou Ruyi said. "But starting a business is risky. Although people are talking about starting a business now, my father knows that there are still very few people who can truly succeed in starting a business. Behind every successful entrepreneur you see, there are countless people who are supporting him. Apart from anything else, do you know how many companies in Hangzhou alone close down, cancel and go out of business every year? Zhou Ben asked Zhou Ruyi. Zhou Ruyi said, I know and I am ready. Even if I may fail, I want to give it a try. If I fail, I will find a job where I can support myself. Why do you? Zhou Ben paused and continued to ask, why are you so resistant to your current job? Zhou Ruyi looked at her father and said seriously, I am your daughter. You should all know my temper and character. If you ask me to be a lowly person in the work unit and flatter others, I can't do it. With my character, and what kind of future can someone with such an academic qualification have in this kind of unit? Work for 10 or 20 years and become a deputy section chief. I really don't care. But if you have worked hard for so many years and haven't even become a deputy section chief, isn't it very shameful and embarrassing? I don't want that day to happen. Zhou Ben and his wife were stunned for a moment when their daughter could say such words. Both of them are civil servants. In government agencies, they can relate to this feeling of hardship. Fortunately, Zhou Ben survived it, and it was precisely because of Zhou Ben after surviving it, Zhou's mother's life in the unit became easier. Otherwise, she, a section member, really didn't know how long she would have to endure it. Zhou Ruyi looked at her parents and continued. Also, I don't want to be like those people in the workplace who are already wilting in their 30s, like an old lady, holding a thermos cup with wolfberry and longan soaked in it every day. If it grows longer, I feel like I will have green hair all over my body. Zhou Ben stood up and said to Zhou's mother, come on. The two people walked into the study and closed the door. When they came out again, Zhou Ben held a bank card in his hand. He sat down, put the bank card in front of Zhou Ruyi, and said to her, there are $500,000 in this card, which were saved from your parents' salary and bonuses. If you really think about it clearly and make up your mind to start a business, then you won't follow Zhang Xiangbei, but partner with him. Go ahead, I have no other meaning. I just want to tell you that the road to starting a business is very difficult. Only when you really give it, will you work hard and cherish it. You will not fish for 3 days and dry the net for 2 days. Do you understand what I said? Zhou Ruyi nodded solemnly, thank you Dad, oh, thank you Mom too. Her father patted her hand and said with a smile, okay, Mom and Dad wish you success. Thank you Zipanjiang 1, Yuzazialiu, and book friends 2017081503044930 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1908. Sun Xiangyang sent Zhang Xiangbei home. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening. After thinking about it, he still did not go back to the dormitory, but went home. After climbing to the 5th floor, Sun Xiangyang realized that he didn't bring his home keys. He put them in the middle of the Buick and forgot to take them. His father, Lao Sun, has married Aunt Zhou in school. Sun Xiangyang thinks it's good, but psychologically, he still feels that there is a layer of separation between him and this woman. She is not his real mother, just a stranger who intervenes halfway. People. When they meet occasionally, the two of them are always polite. The more polite they are, the more their differences are revealed. After going to work, Sun Xiangyang asked for a dormitory from his work unit. It was not a room, but just a bed. There were 4 beds in a room, and Sun Xiangyang occupied a quarter. The dormitory, said to be a dormitory, was actually prepared for the police cooperation. A formal police officer. There are mostly people in Hangzhou. Everyone lives at home, and few live in dormitories. Only Sun Xiangyang squeezed in. Sun Xiangyang usually goes home less and less. When he has nothing to do, he would rather lie in the dormitory and look at the ceiling above his head. At this time, the people in the same dormitory go out to play even if they are not on duty. Sun Xiangyang likes this quietness very much. Sun Xiangyang stood at the door of his house, hesitating for a while, debating whether to go down and get the key. Thinking that it was the 5th floor, he should forget it. He took a deep breath, reached out and pressed the doorbell, and there was a rustling sound from the door. After a while, Sun Xiangyang heard the sound of picking up the iron chain inside the door, and then the door opened. It was Aunt Zhou who opened the door. Sun Xiangyang quickly shouted, "Hello, Aunt." "Oh, it's Xiangyang who's back." Aunt Zhou opened the door completely, then opened the security door outside. While letting Sun Xiangyang into the room, she turned around and shouted inside, old son, it's Xiangyang who's back." Lao Sun was wearing a pair of big pants and a sweat vest. He came out of the room, saw Sun Xiangyang, and asked, "Why are you back at this hour? What's the matter?" Sun Xiangyang said, "I have something to discuss with you, and auntie." Sit, Xiangyang, sit down quickly and say something," Aunt Zhou shouted. The ceiling fan in the living room was whirring, and the air conditioner was not turned on. Even though it was night, it was still a bit stuffy. Sun Xiangyang was already sweating from climbing from the 1st floor to the 5th floor. Aunt Zhou turned on the air conditioner, walked over and closed the balcony door, and came back. When I arrived, I walked to the refrigerator, opened the refrigerator, took out a bottle of ice water, and handed it to Sun Xiangyang. Sun Xiangyang said quickly, "Thank you, auntie." He sat down on the sofa, opened the bottle cap, and drank 2 or 3 sips. Most of the bottle of water was gone. Old Sun also sat down on the sofa, and put one foot on the sofa. He touched his knees, looked at Sun Xiangyang, and said a little impatiently, "If you have anything to say, please tell me quickly. We all have to get up early tomorrow. Other schools are on summer vacation. Our school has a lot of things at this time. Actually, it's not a big deal, it's just that I don't want to stay at the police station anymore and I want to resign," Sun Xiangyang said. "What?" Both Lao Sun and Aunt Zhou were shocked. Lao Sun put down his foot on the sofa, leaned forward, and shouted to Sun Xiangyang, "You don't want to work at the police station anymore? You want to resign? Isn't this a big deal?" Aunt Zhou said, "Xiangyang, the police are an iron rice bowl. It was not easy for you to become a police officer." "I know, but I don't want to do it now," Sun Xiangyang said. "Xiangyang, don't you really like being a policeman?" Aunt Zhou asked. "It turned out to be the original, and now is now," Sun Xiangyang said. "I don't want to do it now, it's boring. It's not interesting to be a policeman? Haha, you don't want to be a policeman anymore. Say, tell me, what do you want to do? What would be interesting?" Lao Sun pointed his finger at Sun Xiangyang randomly and asked angrily, "Are you playing games every day? Do you think it's interesting to play games in the hall? Spanking game, I just don't want to be a policeman anymore, what's wrong?" Sun Xiangyang also got a little angry and shouted, Hey, both of you, please speak softer and speak up if you have anything to say. Xiangyang, there is always a reason why you don't want to be a police officer. Your father just wants to know what kind of job you want to do next," Aunt Zhou hurriedly said. "Smooth things over." Sun Xiangyang glanced at Lao Sun and said, "Zhang Xiangbei is back. He is planning to open a company. I want to work in his company." "No wonder, Zhang Xiangbei is back. He wants to open a company. By the way, it's none of your business if he opens a company," Lao Sun scolded. "I am a second-generation rich man. He can open 10 companies, let alone one now. The company is shutting down, opening and closing the door, and you can go home after patting your butt. What about you, what are you going to do? Leave the police alone and help others carry their bags or shoes. Are you like this? You cursed the company to close down before it opened. Sun Xiangyang was really anxious and shouted, I just like to help him carry bags, what's wrong? Isn't it allowed? You and I say, I have resigned from this position. Whether you agree or disagree, I have already decided. I will tell you when I come back. Then you don't even have to come back, Lao Sun yelled. Yes, you and I have no ability. Your friends originally did your job for you. You don't have to tell us whether you want to do it or not. No need. Ask for our opinions, since you have many friends and classmates outside anyway. Lao Sun stood up as he spoke, walked back to his room, and slammed the door. Sun Xiangyang also stood up and walked towards the door. Aunt Zhou shouted Xiangyang, Xiangyang from behind. Sun Xiangyang ignored her and swung the door open and walked out. He ran from the 5th floor to the 1st floor in one breath. Upstairs, got in the car, started the car and left. The next morning, Sun Xiangyang sat in the office, confused. Thinking of what happened last night, he was still sulking. At the same time, he secretly encouraged himself that he must go this afternoon at the latest. I told my director and instructor that I was going to resign and thank them for their care over the past year. Sun Xiangyang made up his mind last night and talked to the director and instructor this morning. When he got to the office and sat down for a while, he decided to talk to him this afternoon at the latest. He was even a little angry with himself. Another point is that Aunt Zhou is right. Sun Xiangyang really likes being a policeman. Even now, whenever he thinks that he will take off his police uniform soon, Sun Xiangyang feels a little depressed. But at the same time, he really wanted to do things with Zhang Xiangbei. He had been used to it since he was a child. He felt that if he could start a business with him and grow the company from small to big, it would be really great. It's a crazy thing. On the way back to Hangzhou from Yongchen yesterday, Zhang Xiangbei described the company's future prospects to them. Both he and Zhou Ruyi were moved. They both felt that what Zhang Xiangbei painted was not a castle in the air, but something that could really be realized. This was very important to them. It's also a good opportunity. At this age, who doesn't want to do something spectacular? Sun Xiangyang felt that if it hadn't been Sunday, he wouldn't have been able to find a leader. If they hadn't returned to Hangzhou in the evening, he and Zhou Ruyi might have gone to work and resigned immediately after arriving in Hangzhou, regardless of whether their families agreed or not. As a result, I went home one night and asked, and that's when I found out what was wrong. Sun Xiangyang sighed. He looked at his police uniform and stroked it with his hands, his eyes full of melancholy. Colleagues were coming in and out, and when they saw Fatty Sun, who was usually laughing constantly, looking sad, he teased him. What's wrong, Fatty? Your girlfriend dumped you. Shit, your mother hasn't given birth to my girlfriend yet, Sun Xiangyang said angrily. Hey, come on, call me big brother, and I'll urge my parents to move faster. The colleague who was choked by Sun Xiangyang choked him back, and the other colleagues laughed. Comrade, which office is Sun Xiangyang in? A woman's voice came from the corridor, and the office suddenly became quiet. As soon as Sun Xiangyang heard this, he quickly stood up and walked out. Colleagues followed curiously to the door and saw that the man who came to see Sun Xiangyang was a middle-aged man in his 40s. Young woman, everyone retreated back to the office. Auntie, why are you here? Sun Xiangyang asked Aunt Zhou in the corridor. Your father asked me to come find you, Aunt Zhou and Sun Xiangyang said. Sun Xiangyang said angrily, why is he looking for me? What do you think you can do? Aunt Zhou said with a smile. Xiangyang, my father, what else can you be angry about overnight? Your father couldn't turn around last night. After you left, his brain, now that we have turned a corner, it will be fine. The two people were talking and walked out of the corridor, walked out of the gate, walked into the yard, and then stopped in the shade of the tree in front of the bicycle shed. Xiang Yang, your father asked me to tell you that you are old now and can make your own decisions. He said, nothing else. Just one sentence. No matter what happens to you in the future, you will always be there for you at home. If you want to eat, you can do whatever you want, Aunt Jo said. Sun Xiang Yang, who was angry just now, felt a little sad after hearing this. He lowered his head and remained silent. Aunt Jo took out a bank card and said to Sun Xiang Yang, Xiang Yang, you also know that we don't have much money at home. There are 200,000 in this card. Your father asked me to bring it to you. He said that Zhang Xiangbei will definitely look down on this little money, but we have to think about it ourselves. Yes, we must be measured and do what we do. No matter how capable we are, we will do our best and don't take advantage of others. Sun Xiangyang turned his head away, and his eyes were a little red. He knew that since he was a child, Lao Sun had taken him with him, and he had always lived in poverty. It was not until he went to work at Lin Shuwen's LinkedIn school that his financial situation improved a little. But at the end of last year, Lao Sun and Aunt Jo booked a house for Sun Xiangyang in the north of the city. After paying the down payment, the 200,000 yuan was really all the family's wealth. I don't want it, Auntie Sun Xiangyang and Auntie Jo said. Why are you so polite to your own father? Aunt Jo smiled and made sure to push the bank card into Sun Xiangyang's hand. Sun Xiangyang tried to hide but couldn't. People coming and going looked at them curiously, so Sun Xiangyang could only take it in his hand. By the way, Xiangyang, after you resign, you won't be able to live in the dormitory. I will sort out the small room at home and you can go home, Aunt Jo explained. Sun Xiangyang nodded. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you for your monthly votes on the Road, Tian Tian, Qianbo, Void Broken Dreams, Book Friends 202108140240518886, 2017081503044930, Book Friends 201712281556429119. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1909. In the evening, Zhang Xiangbei, Zhou Ruyi, and Sun Xiangyang got together again. In the afternoon, Zhou Ruyi called Zhang Xiangbei and said she had something to tell him. Zhang Xiangbei asked her what was wrong, but she refused to say anything on the phone. I just said we would talk about it when we meet in the evening. They made an appointment to meet at the tea house in the dynamic zone, and had dinner there. Zhang Xiangbei came over very early in the afternoon. He first went to Hagen to do some errands. Then he went to the tea house, asked for a box, took out his computer, and talked with those in the Yongcheng Street Art Festival Preparatory Group office. Hold a video conference and listen to them report today's progress to him one by one, while waiting for Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang arrived together. I don't know if they made an appointment on purpose or if they met below. Zhou Ruyi was holding a red wool Yanjai non-woven bag in her hand. Zhang Xiangbei saw her and said with a smile. Why, are you here to give me a gift? Yes, here you go, Zhou Ruyi said, and put the non-woven bag in her hand on the table in front of Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei stretched his head to take a look, and was startled. Inside are bundles of money. What are you doing? Want to bribe me? I have no official position or power, Zhang Xiangbei asked Zhou Ruyi. Here's 500,000, buy a share, boss, Zhou Ruyi said. Zhang Xiangbei was stunned for a moment. Sun Xiangyang also took out a card, placed it in front of Zhang Xiangbei, and said to him, I also want to buy shares. I don't have that much money. Here is 200,000. What are you doing? Zhang Xiangbei woke up, looked at them and shouted, do you really want to get rid of your career and become self-employed? Of course, I have handed in my resignation report today. Regardless of whether they agree or not, Whatever, I will not go to work starting tomorrow, Zhou Ruyi said. I also talked to our director and instructor in the afternoon, and they asked me to think about it again. I, I don't think there is anything to consider, Sun Xiangyang said. At this time, Zhang Xiangbei was really confused. Until now, he had always thought that Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang were joking when they said they wanted to resign and work with him. Unexpectedly, these two guys were serious. No way, Zhang Xiangbei, don't tell us that you regretted it, Zhou Ruyi said. I'm telling you, it's too late for you to regret it now. The rice is already cooked, and we're relying on you. We are committed to this stock. No, Zhou Ruyi, then your parents agree to your resignation, Zhang Xiangbei asked. Of course, if my dad doesn't agree, where will I get so much money, Zhou Ruyi said. What about you, fatty? Zhang Xiangbei looked at Sun Xiangyang and asked. Sun Xiangyang scratched his head and said, this was given to me by Lao Sunday. Haha, great, Zhang Xiangbei clapped his hands and said with a smile, then we will be grasshoppers on a rope from now on, and no one can escape. Zhang Xiangbei raised his teacup as he spoke, come on, we have become an alliance based on blood. From now on, we will drink wine from a big bowl together and eat meat together in large chunks. No matter how hard it is, no one will be left behind. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang happily raised their teacups, the three of them clinked them together, and then drank them all in one gulp. Zhang Xiangbei, when I hear your tone, you sound like you're going to Mount Liangshan, Zhou Ruyi said, putting down the cup. That's right. If you resign from your work unit and become self-employed, aren't you just turning into bandits, Zhang Xiangbei said with a smile, the three of us are now the Kaitai team. It's really unpleasant, Zhou Ruyi cursed. There is nothing to be afraid of if it sounds ugly, as long as it works, Zhang Xiangbei said. Whoever does big things did not start from the grassroots team and has a ready-made platform and a ready-made organizational structure from the beginning. If that is the case, you said that kind of company would be shut down within a month. Why? Sun Xiangyang asked. When the company first started, there were so many things. Who didn't have multiple jobs? How could we tell the difference between you and me? With such a clear distinction, how big the company would be, and how many people would be superfluous. Now, we have to do whatever it takes to get enough. It doesn't matter what we eat, as long as it allows us to survive. After we survive, we have enough food, and then we should pay attention to eating well, and then we should pay attention to nutrition. Don't understand? I don't understand. Let me give you an example. It's very simple. For example, what should I do if the toilet in the office is clogged? First hold a meeting and make a decision, and then wait for a cleaner to come in and then clear it? Of course. I'm on top of it. I don't have tools, even if I grab it with my hands, I can get it through. If I'm not here, Fatty, you have to get in there, and if Fatty isn't here, you have to get in, Zhou Ruyi. Hey, it's disgusting. I'd rather hold it in until you come and I'll help you wash your hands, Zhou Ruyi said. I'm serious. I admire my dad and the others on this point, Zhang Xiangbei said. Tell me, why do you admire Uncle? Sun Xiangyang shouted. You see, my dad and the others, including Xiangnan's mother, have been doing this since they were young. They have endured all kinds of hardships. As a boss, my dad is not too young, right? You see, look, he doesn't even have a secretary or a driver now. He has appointed several assistants, but those assistants don't know where to go. Wherever he goes, he has to do whatever he wants. As Zhang Xiangbei spoke, Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang kept nodding. Sun Xiangyang said, your Aunt Xiaofang also has a driver. It's different, my Aunt Xiaofang, that's for safety, otherwise she wouldn't want these. Zhang Xiangbei took a sip of tea and said to them. What I hate the most is that in a big-ass company, the boss just assigns himself a secretary and an assistant, and then an assistant and a driver. One secretary is not enough, but 2 or 3 more, and one boss. How can there be so many things? If you have so many things going on, it means that you, the boss, have failed and you are a bunch of useless idiots. Buffett manages such a large amount of money, and he lives in a small house in a small town. Apart from a servant, there are no other people below him. Logically speaking, he shouldn't have 100 people below him. One secretary to serve him. If there were 100 secretaries to serve him, it would be over. Why is this? Sun Xiangyang asked. People around the boss will give orders, consciously or unconsciously. If there are 100 people around him, there will be 100 people giving orders. How chaotic it will be. Who will the people below listen to? Zhang Xiangbei, there is some truth in what you said. Our shabby museum is just like the 5 deputy curators below. They are doing nothing but intrigues and blind orders. Zhou Ruyi nodded. It doesn't make sense, it's just the fact, Zhang Xiangbei said. Then if you go to that kind of company, from the boss to the subordinates, everyone likes to speak half-baked English. In the company, the people who are in charge of human affairs are not called personnel, but called personnel. HR, wait a minute, you think you are so high-ranking, you are not a foreigner, but you are just like the German leader who commanded the Red Army, it will only cause chaos below. You are running a company in China. Will you die if you speak Chinese well? Every company is triangular, with more people at the grassroots level. Doesn't the boss of your company say something like this that everyone can't understand? To be competent, you need to be able to speak words that even sanitation workers can understand, so that there will be no ambiguity in such instructions during the transmission process. Just like you, fat man, when the 110 command center gives you a police information, if it doesn't tell you exactly where it is, Jifang Road, Huangziankao, or in front of Xinhua bookstore, but instead speaks a few words in English, it will sound like an American policeman talking, making an American police movie. Be smart, do you want to beat up that bastard? Will the boss tell her to get out? Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang laughed loudly, and Zhang Xiangbei continued. Isn't it said that shopping malls are like battlefields? On the battlefield, you must use accurate language, a language that every soldier can understand. During the Liaoshen campaign, the people below reported to Lin Biao that everything was in chaos, and now the troops could not find the battalion. The battalion could not find the regiment could not find the division, and everyone did not know which direction to pursue. Ask Lin Biao what to do. Lin Biao only said 2 things. One is to pursue the enemy wherever there is. The other is that it doesn't matter if you can't find anything. Just find Liao Yaoxiang for me. Look, it's so simple and clear. Is it a front-line commander or soldier? We all understand. If you come to adjust the troops at this time, won't you waste the opportunity to fight? What else? At this time, what are you saying incomprehensibly and letting the people below guess? Are you playing a quiz? Showing that you are smarter than everyone else? In our company, we will only see such half-hearted people in the future. Bastard, if he likes to act smart, I will definitely kick him and kill him without mercy. Okay, Zhang Xiangbei, listening to what your boss said, I feel very hopeful. Damn it, don't worry, at least Fatty and I are not like this. We can't learn from it. Zhou Ruyi said, and the 3 of them laughed. Zhang Xiangbei took out a bank card and a bank book from his bag. He looked at the 2 of them and said, I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it. If you regret it now, it's still too late to get your money back. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang both shook their heads. Sun Xiangyang said, I won't change my mind even if I give it 50,000 seconds. Okay, I have more than 4.3 million here. This is all the assets of our company. Tomorrow we will register a company with a paid-in registered capital of 5 million. Zhou Ruyi will own 500,000, accounting for 10% of the shares. Fatty, I'll lend you 300,000, so you'll also get 500,000, which is 10%, and I'll pay the other 4 million, okay? Zhang Xiangbei asked. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang both nodded and said yes. Zhou Ruyi asked, are we going to register tomorrow? Haven't we not even found the office yet? The office is not urgent, but the company is, Zhang Xiangbei said. In the early preparation stage, we did not have time to be in the office. We rented the office a few months later and could save some money. However, whether we went to talk to farmers, whether it's negotiating with the equipment factory or the community, there must be a company, and the agreement must have an official seal, so a license is the most urgent thing. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not a big problem, Zhou Ruyi said. After that, she remembered and said, but when registering a company, no matter what, you still need a business address. Already have it? I thought of it earlier. I went to Uncle Hagen and got this, Zhang Xiangbei said, and took out a rental agreement. E-commerce industrial park and dynamic zone, every office can as the company's address. Uncle Hagen said he could give me a room for free, but I didn't ask for it, so I just borrowed an address to use. That's it? Give me your ID card, Zhou Ruyi said. I'll call you tomorrow and you can come to the Industrial and Commercial Bureau to sign. Zhang Xiangbei and Sun Xiangyang both agreed. Come on, grasshoppers, have another drink. Zhou Ruyi put the rental agreement and ID card away, raised her glass and said to them. Thank you to Ye Buzan, on the road to a nation. Book friends 202011091113511923, and Chi and Dad for your monthly tickets. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1910. In the afternoon, Xiaofang went to Zhang Chen's office. She went because Zhang Xiangbei told them that he wanted to see them if he had something to do. When Zhang Xiangbei wanted to find them, it was Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang who instigated him from behind. They asked Zhang Xiangbei to talk to Zhang Chen and Xiaofang about his thoughts. Zhou Ruyi and Zhang Xiangbei said, Zhang Xiangbei, we know that you don't want to rely on your family, and neither do we. However, it is still good for you to go to your father and aunt to talk about your ideas and listen to their suggestions. No matter what, the three of us are idiots when it comes to running a company and have never done it before. They have more experience than us. If they teach us, we will avoid a lot of detours. That's right, Zhang Xiangbei, this has nothing to do with whether you can rely on your family or not. Don't be so proud. We are just a small company now and have no capital to be proud of, Sun Xiangyang said from the side. Wait until our company is as good as your father's company, it's so big, we can be awesome. Zhang Xiangbei thought about it and realized that what these two people said made sense. The most business experience he had had was from watching on the sidelines since he was a child. It was still his experience of delivering food in New Haven. Although he had written a plan, but that is just talk on paper, and actual operation are two different things. Growing up, Zhang Xiangbei watched how his parents and Uncle Zanzi did things, and also saw how Uncle Zanzi and Uncle Mengping failed him. This made him different from other children. When I started a business, I didn't have so many romantic ideas. I knew that starting a company was not easy and you had to be cautious. Zhang Xiangbei decided to take the newly obtained business license to talk to his father and Aunt Xiaofang and ask them to help him come up with ideas. Zhang Xiangbei told the two people about his purpose. They had already expected that the three of them did not sit on the sofa or face to face at Zhang Chen's desk. Instead, they went to sit in the small meeting room. On both sides of the table, Zhang Xiangbei was on one side, and Zhang Chen and Xiaofang were on the other side, completely talking about business. Xiaofang followed her habit and opened her laptop to record. Xiaofang and Zhang Xiangbei said, "Bai Bei, we are not family now. I will judge your company and projects from the perspective of a professional investor. Your father will judge based on his experience. Okay, you shouldn't judge it either. We treat it as your parents, and, as strategic investors or partners, and you should think carefully about how to explain your project clearly." Zhang Xiangbei nodded, and he agreed. He did not take out his plan to Xiaofang, but told Zhang Chen and Xiaofang what he wanted to do face to face. This part, Xiaofang and Zhang Chen had heard Sun Xiangyang relay it to them last time, and they understood in their hearts, but they still listened patiently to Zhang Xiangbei. Zhang Xiangbei's words were more organized and clearer than Sun Xianjiang's. Xiaofang and Zhang Chen listened, secretly approving. When it came to the most critical last mile, Xiaofang became interested. She said to Zhang Xiangbei, "What I heard you say before is very good, but the most critical thing about this whole process is the last mile. Whoever can solve the problem of the last mile can really break through the bottleneck and be able to quickly develop this industry big." Zhang Xiangbei nodded. He took out a piece of paper from his bag and handed it to Xiaofang. Xiaofang saw two pictures drawn on the paper. On them were a row of L-shaped cabinets, like the express cabinets in the community are the same. There is a small glass house underneath. Inside the house, there are also rows of cabinets. On the door of the house, the words Zaixian delivery are written. Xiaofang looked at this picture and couldn't help laughing. It's still hereditary. She forwarded the picture to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen saw that although the drawing was not very good, the perspective was extremely accurate, and Zhang Chen also laughed. "Is this your last mile?" Xiaofang asked. "Is it the way of express delivery cabinet?" "Yes, but not entirely," Zhang Xiangbei said. "The form is the same, but express cabinets cannot solve the problem of preservation. These cabinets have a refrigeration function, a bit like the display cabinets in some restaurants. In this way, all putting the vegetables inside can achieve the purpose of keeping them fresh, so delivery time is not a problem, and they can be delivered centrally instead of one household at a time." "Bingo! Perfect!" Xiaofang's eyes lit up and she shouted, "Bai Bei, please continue." Zhang Xiangbei nodded. "These cabinets are installed in the underground parking garage of the community or in the foyer of the building. According to the customer's order, we deliver them once in the early morning or morning every day, and again in the afternoon. Whether it is noon or noon when he comes back in the evening, he only needs to enter the pickup code to get his food without delaying for a minute. For us, because the delivery time is no longer so tight, and we don't have to worry about whether the customer is at home or not, we can deliver on a large scale. A single cold chain truck can be used by hundreds of thousands of households in a community. It can be completed by 2 or 3 staff members, and there is no need to rely on thousands of human resources like Meituan and JD.com. What about this? What does this small house mean? Zhang Chen asked. This is designed for those old communities. There is no underground parking lot or foyer in the old community. The corridors are also very narrow. There is no place to put cabinets. So you can find an open space in the community or even on the side of the road to set up with such an unmanned station. Residents living in old communities can also enjoy the same services." Zhang Chen and Xiaofang looked at each other. They both thought Zhang Xiangbei's idea was good. "Actually, there is a solution," Zhang Xiangbei said. "What's the plan, Bai Bei?" Xiaofang asked. "For those homesteaders who need to buy groceries every day and find it troublesome to go downstairs to get them, we can also provide small cabinets that can be installed directly at the door of their homes, just like mail boxes and milk boxes. When they open the door, they can get his food." Zhang Xiangbei said. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang both laughed, thinking that there were so many clever ideas. "Zhang Xiangbei, there is a problem here," Zhang Chen said. "What is the problem?" "If these cabinets have a refrigeration function, wouldn't they be just large refrigerators?" The power consumption and manufacturing costs will be very high, right? Zhang Chen asked. How do you pass on this cost? No, these cabinets only need to have a refrigeration function, not a freezing function. They don't even need a compressor. They only need to use semiconductor refrigeration. Before Zhang Xiangbei could say anything, Xiaofang interrupted and Zhang Xiangbei nodded. Semiconductor refrigeration, what does it mean? Zhang Chen felt that Xiaofang's statement was very fresh. The principle is that of a car refrigerator, Xiaofang said. It uses the thermoelectric effect of semiconductors to produce cold energy. There is no compressor or refrigerant. The production cost is very low, and it consumes very little power. The refrigeration elements are completely. You can make the temperature in the cabinet reach a level 20 degrees lower than the ambient temperature, which is enough for refrigeration. So powerful. Then why can't it replace the traditional refrigerator? Zhang Chen asked. 2 points. First, its volume generally cannot exceed 100 liters. If it is too large, the corresponding semiconductor refrigeration effect will decrease and the power consumption will also increase. The second is that if you want to reduce the temperature to below zero, one level of refrigeration fins is not enough. You need to solve this problem by connecting multiple levels of refrigeration fins in series. But in this way, the corresponding heat will also rise. If the heat dissipation is not done in time, the refrigeration element will be damaged. A household refrigerator with a capacity of 100 liters is definitely not enough, and it certainly cannot be frozen. But here, these two shortcomings of semiconductor refrigeration are just avoided. The size of each box will not exceed 100 liters, in addition, these boxes only need to be refrigerated to maintain freshness, and first-level refrigeration units are sufficient. After Xiaofang finished speaking, Zhang Chen nodded and understood. Zhang Xiangbei continued what Xiaofang said. Its power consumption is very low, but in a community, as long as you occupy a place, it is equivalent to occupying an advertising space. Whether it is these cabinets or small houses, they themselves can be transformed into as a carrier of advertising. The monthly advertising revenue can not only cover the electricity bill, but also bring income to the property management company. For us, apart from the one-time investment in the early stage, there is no additional investment. For the one-time investment, I have calculated that if these cabinets are mass-produced, the cost per unit will be 100 yuan. Within the space, this is affordable, and this cost can be earned back through indoor advertising. Yes, Bai. Even from the perspective of an investor, I would like to praise your plan as a very good one. If you came to me for financing, I can tell you that your plan impressed me. You put the last mile, the problem is solved. Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen and Zhang Xiangbei both laughed. Zhang Chen asked, Zhang Xiangbei, what are you going to do next? We have already registered the company. Zhou Ruyi and Sun Xiangyang also resigned and came to work with me. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang were surprised. Zhang Chen asked, you mean, Fatty Sun quits being a police officer? Zhou Ruyi also came out of that museum. Zhang Xiangbei said yes, the company has just started and I also need manpower. Did their parents agree? Xiaofang asked. I agree. We got the business license. It was Zhou Ruyi's father who took care of us. We got it in 2 days. Zhang Xiangbei said and took out a business license. Zhang Chen opened it. He and Xiaofang saw that the name of Zhang Xiangbei's company was Hangcheng Zaixian Shui Network Technology Co., Limited with a registered capital of 5 million. Is this registered capital actually paid? Xiaofang asked. Zhang Xiangbei nodded. Where did you get 5 million? Zhang Chen was a little strange. He glanced at Xiaofang, who quickly said, it has nothing to do with me. Like you, I just found out. The money I earned in the United States, the school's funds for graduates, Zhou Ruyi and Fatty Sun also invested in it, and Xiang Nan's money, they were all put together. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang both laughed, and Xiaofang said, "That's right, you guys are burning the boat." Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said, "Both the Chinese and English domain names of our website have been registered. Also, the trademark office has also checked and found that no one has registered for Zai Xianshui yet." Zhang Xiangbei scratched his head as he spoke, and said to Zhang Chen sheepishly, "Dad, can you help us design a trademark?" Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will design it for you tonight, and you can apply for registration tomorrow. By the way, I will help you redesign these cabinets and your station." "Yours is a bit ugly," Zhang Chen said. Zhang Xiangbei smiled and said quickly, "Thank you, Dad. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you for dancing with my heart, wandering Xiaoliu, Josiah, Gongzimayanzi, Zongkai 727, if you don't see a future, just remember your original intention, why can't you change your name, knowing your heart and your nature, Yuingzi, once upon a time there was a mountain, enlightened sun, Roar the sheep, the fish-eating brother, and the 80-tail monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 1911. "Bai Bei, what are you going to do next?" Xiaofang asked. Zhang Xiangbei said, "I plan to start in Hangzhou, one community at a time. If Hangzhou is successful, I will go to Shanghai. In this way, step by step, we will launch it city by city across the country, and we will do it steadily." Xiaofang looked at Zhang Xiangbei and asked, "Bai Bei, the premise for you to think this way is that the entire market is static, waiting for you to develop slowly, right?" Zhang Xiangbei was stunned for a moment. He was thinking about what Aunt Xiaofang meant. Xiaofang smiled slightly and continued, "This entire model, Bai Bei, have you ever thought about it? It is very replaceable. There is no core technology in it that other companies cannot obtain. It can constitute your core competitiveness and prevent other companies from imitating you. This whole model is a bit like a courier company. You can do it, but you can't stop others from doing it. I'm afraid that before you have occupied all of Hangzhou, other companies have started to do it. Before you have developed to Shanghai, there are already people in Shanghai doing it. In this case, as I said before, as long as you once a cabinet is put up, others will understand it at a glance. Needless to say, even if it is express cabinets, there are many companies in Hangzhou, let alone the whole country." Xiaofang spoke unhurriedly and eloquently. Zhang Xiangbei listened, but felt like he was breaking out in a cold sweat. Hearing what Xiaofang said, he felt that it made sense. Yes, it was just a business model, and there was no patent. Yes, it cannot be said that if you can sell vegetables like this, other people cannot. As long as it is profitable, I am afraid that many companies will follow suit soon. This is not too common in the internet industry. When ele.me started a food delivery business, Meituan could follow suit. After that, no one could tell who started the food delivery business first. Your number one store has started to build an online supermarket, and I can also build an online supermarket on Doubao.com. Doubao.com is awesome enough, but you still can't stop Pinduoduo from starting to develop. Zhang Xiangbei felt that he had been thinking about how to improve his model, but Aunt Xiaofang dispelled it with one sentence. In his entire thinking, he had always assumed that the entire market was static, and he had forgotten that compete. I have even forgotten that there are so many people who are best at imitating. They may not start as fast as you, but they can rely on their own financial strength and experience to run faster than you by taking 3 steps and 2 steps at a time. You throw it behind you. When Xiaofang said this, even Zhang Chen frowned, feeling that competition was inevitable and would come very quickly. This internet company sounds very high-end, but in fact, the actual operation is similar to what they first did in Sijiking. The same goes for clothing, but the techniques are also very crude, and copying and counterfeiting are hard to guard against. Zhang Xiangbei sighed secretly, looking a little depressed. He looked at Xiaofang and almost cried. Xiaofang sighed, stretched out her hand, held the hand of Zhang Xiangbei opposite her, and said to him slowly, "Bai Bei, what Auntie said is a reality, but let's not lose heart, okay? Auntie said that your idea is very good, and she meant it. She said that your plan impressed me, and it is also true. This project of yours is only good projects have the possibility of being imitated by others. On the other hand, it also shows that this project is worth doing. However, the method you mentioned is wrong, and this is not how it is done." Zhang Xiangbei looked up at Xiaofang, with a look of help in his eyes. He really wanted Aunt Xiaofang to continue talking and tell him what the correct method was. Since this could be done, what should be done? How to do it? He believed that when Aunt Xiaofang told him this, she must have already figured out a way. Xiaofang looked at Zhang Chen and saw that Zhang Chen was also looking at her with questioning eyes. Xiaofang smiled and said to Zhang Xiangbei, "Bai Bei, have you ever thought about it? There are so many people selling clothes. Your parents also came to sell clothes back then. They sold well and started a company. Do you know why?" Zhang Xiangbei thought hard, but he felt as if his brain had just been hit hard and was now a little sluggish. He shook his head. "First, the market itself is large enough." Xiaofang said, "The business of selling vegetables is very similar to selling clothes. The market itself is big enough. Let's not think too much. Think of the whole country as a Hangzhou. How many people buy vegetables every day? You just monopolize this market, not to mention all, 1 in 10 Hangzhou residents buy food through your platform every day, which is an astonishing number. In such a huge market, don't think about monopoly. As long as you are always one step ahead of others, lead the way, and get a piece of the market, then this market is very scary. Why do all kinds of apps and e-commerce companies have grown up very quickly? Not because these people are so good, but because the market itself is big enough. Any app has a basic number of users, including the operating system. When you reach a certain number of users, you have passed a life and death line. In China, an app may have a large number of downloads in a few days. It can reach tens of millions, which is impossible in other countries. Even in the United States, there is no such ecology and it cannot be done. There are 1.4 billion people and more than 900 million internet users. The total population of the United States is only more than 300 million. China's internet users are almost 4 times that of the United States. How does this compare? For example, apps like ele.me and Meituan are difficult to do in the United States or Europe. Why? The population base is different, and people's living habits are also different. There are very few cities in the world that are like the Chinese. Work and life are concentrated in cities. You should know that in many cities in the United States and Europe, living areas and work areas are separated. Every morning and evening during commuting time, everyone is on the expressway in and out of the city. At night, the city is just like during the Chinese New Year. There are very few people and everyone lives in the suburbs. In this case, how do you take out food? Delivery. I have to deliver 10 orders from the city to the suburbs, and my legs will break even if I deliver 10 orders a day. How much service fee and tip should I charge? This is why companies like ele.me and Meituan find it difficult to survive in these places. Whether it is the internet or e-commerce, it has only changed the mode of circulation of goods, but it has not changed the necessity of transactions between buyers and sellers. Point-to-point nature, so a large and dense population base is the fertile ground for the internet and apps. Back to your project, Bai Bei, it is a project that is very suitable for survival and development in China. As you said before, 1 cold chain truck and 2 or 3 staff can complete the project for hundreds of thousands of households. Delivery, This is only possible in our country. In our domestic cities, everyone seems to live closely together. A small road like Peach Blossom Land already feels far away to us. If it were placed in the United States, it would be nothing. Are you right? Bai Bei. Zhang Xiangbei grinned. He felt that Aunt Xiaofang was right. Everyone hugged each other tightly and lived together. This metaphor was very vivid. Indeed, it was this kind of life that allowed many industries to develop rapidly. Quick. I'm going a bit far. Come to think of it, why are so many people selling clothes, but your parents can still do it? Firstly, as I just said, the market is big enough, and secondly, they have given full play to their own advantages, that is, your father himself you can design and use your own advantages, which is equivalent to becoming a tall person in a group of short people. You can keep imitating me, but you can't surpass me. Why? Because you can only do what I have done, but there is no way to do what I want to do. This is the advantage. This advantage also allows you to overcome no threshold. The industry has set up a threshold, making it difficult for latecomers to pursue you. This is why your parents opened specialty stores and engaged in franchising. If you have the ability, if you want to imitate me, you must at least be able to open a specialty store. You must have enough products and be able to engage in franchising. You must at least have your own design capabilities and factories. This will allow many imitators to those who were discouraged were deterred. Xiaofang said, and Zhang Chen nodded. He felt that the truth was still the same. Zhang Chen remembered similar words. Lu Ligan seemed to have said it back then. He meant that real estate in Hangzhou, where there are no standards, should be built. In the market, set a standard and draw a line so that those who are empty-handed can consciously withdraw. And Xiaofang, what do you think of my project? Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help it and asked. This project of yours? The advantage of your project now is that when others haven't figured out how to solve the last mile problem, you thought of it, so that you can start faster than others. But this alone is not enough. You must also faster, you have to bring out the advantages that others don't have and only you have, or put them together. Slow development, like you said before, one community after another, is definitely not enough. The fresh food delivery industry is very similar to the situation of the real estate industry when it just started. You have to quickly seize the land and wait until others wake up. At that time, you will find that many markets have already been occupied by you. When people start out at this time, you are already the leader in this market. When people start chasing you, you have already moved forward quickly. The characteristic of this industry is that whoever runs fast can gain popularity. First of all, whoever takes the lead can bring about a crushing effect, deterring many small companies. It's the express delivery industry. When Wu Zhaowei, Wei Venfang, and others first started, they could rent a store and quickly expand. But now the market has matured. If anyone still wants to copy what they did, they will give you another 10 years. Time, you can't do it? It's very simple. In a market that is already fully developed, leading companies will pose a threat of crushing new companies that follow. Xiaofang looked at Zhang Xiangbei and saw that he was impatient. Xiaofang said, as for your project, it's very simple. It's not like you said before, doing it one by one. Instead, you have to choose 3 cities, Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Nanjing. Start preparations and start work at the same time. Wait until people discover you. You are already a giant company. At this time, even if Daibao and JD.com want to suppress you, it will not be that simple. In this area, if you move faster than them, they can only be a follower. You have many advantages that they don't have. Also, Bai Bei, believe me, in the end, this industry will definitely be different. Competition among large companies leaves little room for small companies to survive. Think about it. A small company brings him a truckload of cabbage from Shandong every day. He can't even digest it on the same day. But you need dozens of trucks of cabbage a day. How can he compete with you? Zhang Xiangbei nodded, and Xiaofang asked, if you want to do this, Bai Bei, do you think your 5 million is enough? Zhang Xiangbei was stunned for a moment, then shook his head. Are you kidding? 3 cities are doing it together, and nothing else needs to be done. Just recruit as many people as you need, 5 million. How many months will it take to pay wages? Not to mention the need to make equipment, rent space, and purchase a large number of transportation vehicles. Do you know how much your project will cost, Bai Bei? Xiaofang asked. Zhang Xiangbei was asked, he really hadn't thought about this. How much do you need, and Xiaofang? Zhang Xiangbei asked. 2 billion, Xiaofang said. Ah, Zhang Xiangbei was shocked. Thank you for your monthly votes from Wang Meichink, Huandian Electromechanical, Yunlong Fragio, De Ji Lao, Zhang Yuan Y, Lao Shenzi Sang, Hu, and My Heart Dances. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone.